our lives are stories. They tell us who we are. But me, my friends, my family, those we love and love no more. Live our lives as stories, not always knowing why.
Warmi, Naigiara Jasmine Seymour, Baju Bujari Darug Yoragu, Baju Bujari Darug Burungarad, Baranyin Yagu Barabagu, Baju Bujari, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Yora Nurabimugu. Hello, my name is Jasmine Seymour. It is good to see you today. I pay my respects to Darug people. I pay my respects to Darug elders past, present and emerging, and I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and their homelands. Today I'm here to talk to you about my picture books. I'm the author-illustrator of Baby Business, Kui Mitiga and Open Your Heart to Country. And I was really started writing and making picture books because in Sydney there were no books that spoke about Darug people, and there were no books that said anything about Darug language for primary school students or high school students, and this is what really compelled me to start. Why did I write Baby Business? Well, there were many reasons, but at the time I was spending a lot of time on country with Darug women who were having grandchildren, and we were talking about having smoking ceremonies for these beautiful grandchildren. And I was also really conscious of the kids in my own school. So in Western Sydney, we have a lot of Indigenous students who don't have any connection to where they have come from, have very little connection in their daily lives to culture, and I wanted a book that celebrated just the joy of existing, because we don't often get a lot of those books in Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander literature, and so a lot of our books position us in the past with our dreaming stories, and a lot of our books sometimes also are about protest and about some of the sad things that had happened. And I just wanted to see everyday people being contemporary, practicing culture and connecting to country. And I wanted people to be really proud of where they came from. Yana with Nana to the smoking place. Aunties talk about the old ways, say long ago, when they were born, the Wayanga would have done as smoking. Now, for me, this book is also about my grandmother and the time that I spent on country with her. She would light fires nearly every day in winter and clear country, and we would walk through the bush, and these beautiful washed out watercolour backgrounds sort of really evoke that smokiness of country for me. As we go through the book, we're sort of taught about all of these things that you need to do a smoking ceremony. The paper bark, the termite mud, the leaves. We speak about how it's a community event and celebrate in us being on country and seeing images like this. At the time we didn't get to see things like this. So it was very, very special to have this book in the hands of kids and them speaking some Darug language, because there is some Darug language incorporated into this book as well. Warm smoke from the fire to connect your feet to country. And on it goes, and so it's your first lessons in how to behave towards your community and towards country. Warm smoke from the fire on your chest, keep your mudjin and country close to your heart. Care for country as it cares for you. And so Baby Business, it has just been such a joy for me to share with students and with kids all across Western Sydney, and to see them just love it, and to see themselves reflected back in it, and to be proud of who they are, and also to see the beautiful Darug language being used. as well. Baby Business was actually my second book. The first book I wrote was Kui Miriga, and this was born really out of Leanne Watson and I from the Darug Custodian Aboriginal Corporation's desire to see a book about Darug language and culture in Sydney. So we sent it to everyone we could find on the internet, and we got a couple of people interested, and it turned into Kui Miriga. It is such an incredible book because it was the first book to really celebrate Darug language and culture. All throughout the book, you're taken on a journey on the Darug songlines, so the pathway of our ancestors. It's really the story of the big, beautiful Dorabang, the Jaraban, and the river, the Hawkesbury River. And so you're taken to see all the sights and the seasonal indicators for what you'll find on country. And the book is full of Darug language that describes these things. We're so proud of this book, and it has really been such a huge success for us in Sydney. We're so grateful to everyone who has loved it. So follow me on Nura as we move through the Minak and Darabara, Yana with me in Bayami's footsteps through the time of Yanada, Yilak and Birang. In the long, long ago, in the now and forever, Darug dreaming was, has and will be sung into the songlines of Nura by its creation peoples, Yelamundi, Yabanda, animals and lands. Leanne Watson's beautiful illustrations take us on this pathway, and all through the book we are taught language. And in Australia we're really quite monolingual. We don't have any experience of other languages generally, even though we think we're multilingual. In our schools we're not learning languages, particularly in our public schools, especially in primary schools. And we should be celebrating the Indigenous language of country. And for Sydney, that is Darug, for most of Sydney. So it is a beautiful, beautiful book to help us celebrate our connection to this incredible place. As we move through the book, we're taken through all the seasonal indicators. After Yurika, Gobonyi time arrives. Listen for the Garad cry and watch the golden orb Mariagung. We go through the time of Mariang, the emu in the sky, the Gurangad story, when the great eel that belongs in the Hawkesbury River. We learn about Darug kinship through dingoes, and the times of ceremony about Jurali, when there were cranes on country. And then we talk about how this is a cycle and it starts again and again and again. And this is a beautiful pattern of country. My next book was born out of the Masters of Indigenous Language Education I did at Sydney University. When I went there, I was shocked at how little I had been taught about my own language, and I was pretty devastated and really angry. It is a right for everyone to have some knowledge about their mother tongue. And again, like I said before, in Australia we're very monolingual, and particularly for Aboriginal languages, we have not given the time to them in Australia, not the time that they definitely deserve. And so for me, my books are really about promoting language and using language. And so Open Your Heart to Country is a book for language revitalisation. It is for all the people finding their way back home and all the kids learning about language. It's never too late to learn. And it is a celebration and a connection that keeps you strong. So open your heart to country. Open your heart to country. Let place soothe your lonely feet. Ngini Norawa, you are on country. And this book is in 2 languages, English and Darug, because when you're learning a language, you get a completely different worldview. And this is the beauty of understanding language and learning about a different language, and especially Aboriginal languages, because we have so much to learn from them in Australia. Welcome home, lost children, to land singing you back home. Walamanuragu, return home. Listen to its language, learn how to speak its song. Ngara ngurangai dalangu, listen to the language of country. Let it wrap you in a bed of bark, back where you come from. Ngini nurabarang, you are of country. Your skin might have many names, you might be far from home. Warami bujuri najunya, where are you from? Good to see you. Long ago stories will cover you. Listen, love, learn. Dabawamili nuraku, paint up for country. Move through the smoke, let it cover you. Garimagi gadyala, cleanse yourself with smoke. Dance with bare feet on the ground. Nanguraya, let's dance. Open your heart to country. Sleep in its emu Milky Way. Marayanga Yuribanya Burawa, the emu will guide you across the sky. Swim in its river of stars. Banga Baranyin Barabago, paddle from yesterday to tomorrow. On country where you belong. Walamagulang Yini Norago, to return to your home. And so this book is a celebration of language, and I'm so hopeful that in Australia we're going to see more of these types of books, more of these books that really reflect who we are, because we haven't seen these beautiful bilingual books in Australian languages really very often in the past. And I'm urging everyone to support these books, because this is our story. This is what Australia is. This is who we are. Embrace it. Yanu, thanks for listening today. Nabawanya.
All our lives are stories. They tell us who we are. But me, my friends, my family, those we love and love no more. Live our lives as stories.